My peaches are finally ready. So you know what we're doing? Let's head into my kitchen because we're going to be making some peach strudel. Hello and welcome back to Michelle's Slovenian kitchen. We're just going to dive right in and we're going to start off by making our dough from scratch. We're going to need to sift 4 cups of unbleached all-purpose flour. And then once we're done sifting, we're just going to set that bowl aside. Now in another bowl, we're going to measure out 12 ounces of lukewarm water, 1 egg, and a teaspoon of salt. We're also going to need 2 tablespoons of oil and 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. And now we're just going to vigorously mix this all together before we add it to the flour. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. And if you like watching my videos, give me a big thumbs up and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you don't miss any new recipes. Now those of you that are using your hands, you can do that at this time. We're going to be using our electric mixer and we're just going to allow this to mix for about 10 minutes. Halfway through the mixing process, you're going to know if you need to add more flour or not. If you feel that you do, you just add it 1 tablespoon at a time until you get that perfect ball of dough. Now we're just going to want to let the dough rest for about 2 hours on the counter. So we're just going to place 2 tablespoons of oil into a bowl. And then we're going to take our dough ball, and before we place it into that bowl, we're going to do a stretch technique. And I'm going to have my mom here show us exactly how it's done. So you can see she's stretching and pulling and then forming a nice dough ball. And then we're just going to place it into the bowl that has the oil in it. And we're just going to roll it around so the ball is completely covered with oil. And then we're just going to cover it with a clear, stretchy wrap. And we're going to allow it to rest on the counter for 2 hours. Now that the dough is resting, we're going to work on the filling. So we're going to need 1 package of ricotta cheese. We're just using like a dry, traditional ricotta cheese. We're going to crumble that into a bowl, and then we're going to be adding in our sour cream. So we're looking at about a 1/2 cup to 3/4 of a cup of sour cream, depending on how dry your ricotta cheese is. Then we're going to add in 1 egg, 2 packages of vanilla sugar or 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, zest from 1 lemon. I'm going to give this a quick mix, and then we're going to be adding in our white sugar. So you're going to add about 3 to 4 tablespoons of sugar depending on how sweet you want to have the filling. And then once we're done this, we're just going to set it aside. And now we're just going to prepare our peaches. We like using freestone peaches. They're the easiest peach to bake with. The pit literally falls out of the peach once it's sliced. Not to mention, they are so sweet and juicy. Perfect for a peach strudel. So the dough has been resting for 2 hours, and now we're just going to get our surface ready to stretch out the dough. So we're just going to sprinkle on a little bit of flour. We're also going to add a little bit of flour to the dough ball before we remove it from the bowl. And today my mom's not going to be using a rolling pin. She's just going to stretch out the dough with her hands. And if you are planning on using a rolling pin, you would just place the dough ball onto the surface that you're working on, and you would just roll out the dough so it would be a nice large rectangular shape, and then you would just start stretching it out at that point. And now you'll be able to see my mom's technique on how she stretches this dough out so beautifully, using the palms and her fingertips as she stretches from the center and pulls until it reaches the outer edges of the table. Did you know that we have a delicious apple strudel recipe as well? I'm going to leave a link to it just up here on the top right hand corner if you want to have a peek at it when you're done watching this video. Isn't she just amazing? My mommy is a true master at this craft. I could watch her make strudel for days. I only wish that I could give each of you a slice of her delicious strudel. And here you'll see there's a small little hole or a little tear. Not to worry, all you have to do is pinch it together and it flattens. And then we're just going to continue to pull and stretch until we get a really nice dough that is see-through. And then once it's perfect, we're just going to cut around the edges. And this next step, we're going to need a pot, and we're going to heat up 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of oil. And at this point, our dough should be a little bit dry, so it'll be perfect to start adding our filling. So we're just going to drizzle on that butter and oil mixture. And for the next ingredient, it's total preference, but it could be any crumbed cookie. We like to use graham crumbs, and you're literally just going to sprinkle it on sporadically, not too much, but it's a nice way to absorb any juices that may be coming from the peaches. But anything that you want to blend up or crumb up, again, we like to use graham crumbs. Some people like using, vanilla crumbed cookies. It's, again, just total preference. And then we're just going to take our ricotta filling, and we're just going to drop by the tablespoon and sprinkle it around the dough sporadically as well. And one important step is you're going to leave about 10 inches of the dough closest to where I'm standing and filming, where you're not going to be adding any filling. And you're going to do this because you're going to want to achieve that delicious outer layer once it's baked. It's going to be nice and crispy. And of course, last but certainly not least, the star of the show, the delicious freestone peaches. And again, it's preference. You can cut up your peaches where they're more chunkier, or you can also grate them. We like to enjoy them both ways. And now we're just going to top it up with a little bit more of the ricotta filling. We don't want to add too much because it weighs down the dough. And now for the final step, we're just going to fold it over on the long end. And then we're just going to use our tablecloth to help us roll up the strudel. And then we're just going to stop rolling it to where we have that excess 10 inches of dough. And on this side, we're not going to be adding in any of the ricotta filling or the peaches. We're going to want to keep it nice and dry. So we're just going to add on some sugar and those cookie crumbs. And this is how you're going to achieve that delicious, crispy outer layer. And then we're just going to finish it up by rolling it up. And then we're going to cut it to the size of the pan that we're going to be baking it in. And Mommy's going to demonstrate how she does that by using a kitchen plate. And it's a great way to kind of seal the ends without using a sharp knife. Pinch it together and then fold it underneath. And then place it into the pan that's been lined with parchment paper. If you like the apron and shirts that Mommy and I wear in our videos, come check out our shop at www.sloveniankitchen.com. Before we place it into the oven, we're just going to brush on a little bit of butter. We're going to score the tops of the strudel, and then we're going to bake it in a 350-degree oven for 45 minutes. If we're going to be baking the strudel from frozen, you're going to want to bake it at 375 degrees for 45 minutes, and then you're going to lower the temperature to 350 degrees for another 15. Ooh, guys, are you salivating yet? I am so excited. I cannot wait to take in my first bite. If you enjoy watching my videos, please give me a great big thumbs up below. Subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss any new recipes. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time when I share another delicious recipe from my Slovenian kitchen. Until then, na zdravje and dober tek. Adio!